The rejection did not begin when people walked away from you. It began the moment you started carrying something within you that others could not fully understand. Long before your purpose became visible, long before your gifts became clear, long before your strength revealed itself, there was already something different about you. You may have noticed it as a child. You felt things deeply. You cared deeply. You thought differently. You saw beyond appearances. While others seemed comfortable blending into the crowd, part of you always felt like an outsider looking in. You tried to fit in. You tried to become what people expected. You tried to silence the parts of yourself that seemed to make others uncomfortable. Yet no matter how much effort you made, there was often a feeling that you never completely belonged. Many people who carry a meaningful purpose spend years wondering why they experience so much rejection. They wonder why friendships fade, why relationships become complicated, why their loyalty is not returned, why their kindness is overlooked, and why their presence sometimes seems misunderstood. The answer is not always because something is wrong with them. In many cases, the very qualities that will eventually become their greatest strengths are the same qualities that others fail to recognize in the beginning. A seed does not look impressive before it becomes a tree. Potential is often invisible before it becomes reality. Character is frequently overlooked before it produces visible results. The world tends to celebrate what is already developed, but it often ignores what is still growing. Many chosen people spend years living inside that hidden season. They carry burdens that few people ever noticed. They continue showing up when nobody applauds them. They continue believing when circumstances offer little encouragement. They continue giving even when they receive very little in return. That kind of perseverance is not weakness. That kind of endurance is evidence of something powerful being formed within. Rejection has a way of making people question their value. It whispers that they are unwanted. It convinces them that they are not enough. It causes them to compare themselves to those who seem accepted and celebrated. Yet some of the deepest wounds are created not by what happened to you, but by what you began believing about yourself because of what happened. The painful experiences were real. The disappointments were real. The loneliness was real. The tears were real. But the conclusion that you were somehow less valuable was never true. Your worth was never determined by the people who failed to recognize it. Your value was never dependent upon the approval of others. There are people who spend their entire lives being understood by everyone around them, yet never discover who they truly are. There are others who endure seasons of misunderstanding, but eventually step into a life filled with meaning, purpose, wisdom, and peace. The chosen often walk the second path. It is not the easier path. It is not the more comfortable path. Yet it is often the path that produces extraordinary depth of character. Every season of rejection forces a decision. You can allow bitterness to take root, or you can allow wisdom to grow. You can become hardened, or you can become stronger without losing your compassion. You can allow disappointment to define you, or you can allow it to refine you. Many people who are walking through rejection right now do not realize how much strength they have already developed. They focus on what they lost. They focus on who left. They focus on the opportunities that never arrived. Meanwhile, they overlook the resilience that was quietly being built through every difficult chapter. The fact that you are still standing says more about your strength than you realize. There were moments when giving up felt easier. There were nights when exhaustion settled heavily on your heart. There were seasons when you questioned whether anyone truly saw your struggles, yet somehow you kept moving forward. Somehow you kept believing. Somehow you kept showing kindness in a world that often seemed indifferent. That strength did not appear by accident. It was developed through every challenge you survived. The chosen often discover that rejection served a purpose they could not see while they were living through it. Not because rejection itself was good, but because it redirected them towards something greater. Some relationships had to end because they were preventing growth. Some doors had to close because they were leading in the wrong direction. Some disappointments had to occur because they were preparing space for opportunities that aligned more closely with who they were becoming. Looking back, many people realize that the very experiences they once resented eventually became important parts of their story. The heartbreak taught compassion. The loneliness taught self-awareness. The waiting taught patience. The uncertainty taught faith. The struggle taught resilience. What felt like punishment was often preparation. What felt like abandonment was often redirection. What felt like failure was often transformation happening beneath the surface. There is something deeply comforting about understanding that your difficult seasons were not meaningless. Every scar carries a lesson. Every setback contains insight. Every challenge leaves behind strength if you allow it. You may not have chosen those experiences, but they helped shape the person you are becoming. The chosen are often rejected before their purpose appears because purpose changes people. Purpose requires growth. Purpose requires maturity. Purpose requires a depth of character that cannot be developed overnight. Before the blessing becomes visible, the foundation must be strengthened. Before the opportunity arrives, the person must be prepared. Before the next chapter begins, the lessons from the previous chapter must be learned. This process is rarely comfortable. Growth rarely feels glamorous while it is happening. Most of the important work takes place in private. Most of the transformation occurs in silence. Most of the healing happens where nobody can see it. Yet those hidden seasons matter more than many people realize. God often works in places that receive no applause. He works in quiet moments of perseverance. He works through tears that nobody else notices. He works through prayers spoken in loneliness. He works through small acts of faithfulness that seem insignificant at the time. While the world focuses on visible success, God often focuses on developing the heart. That is why some of your greatest victories happened in silence when nobody was watching. That is why some of your most important growth occurred during seasons that felt invisible. God saw the tears that nobody else noticed. He saw the disappointments you carried. He saw the burdens you refused to place on others. He saw every time you chose kindness instead of bitterness. He saw every moment you continued moving forward despite feeling discouraged. None of it was wasted. None of it was forgotten. Many chosen people carry a quiet grief because they spent so much of their lives feeling unseen. They wanted understanding. They wanted acceptance. They wanted someone to recognize their heart. Those desires are deeply human. There is nothing wrong with wanting connection. There is nothing wrong with wanting to feel appreciated. Yet healing begins when you understand that your identity cannot be built upon the opinions of others. The people around you may misjudge you. They may underestimate you. They may overlook your value, but none of those things have the power to change who you truly are. Your story has value even if it did not unfold the way you expected. Your kindness matters even when it goes unnoticed. Your faith matters even when results seem delayed. Your perseverance matters even when progress feels slow. Not every battle you fought was in vain. Some victories are invisible at first. Some blessings arrive gradually. Some purposes reveal themselves only after years of preparation. The chosen often spend long periods wondering whether anything meaningful is happening, only to discover later that every difficult season contributed to the person they were becoming. One day, many of the experiences that currently confuse you may make sense in ways you never anticipated. The rejection that wounded you may reveal lessons that strengthened you. The loneliness that exhausted you may reveal growth that prepared you. The waiting that frustrated you may reveal wisdom that protected you. Until then, remember this truth. There is a strength within you that kept moving forward even on your darkest days. There is value within you that cannot be diminished by rejection. There is purpose within you that does not disappear because others fail to see it. And there is hope ahead of you that remains alive, even when the road feels difficult. The season that tested you was also shaping who you were becoming. If these words encouraged your heart and reminded you that your struggles were not without meaning, subscribe to the channel and continue walking alongside a community that believes purpose, healing, faith, and perseverance still matter. You do not have to carry every burden alone, and there is encouragement waiting for you in the journey ahead. There comes a moment in the life of many chosen people when they stop asking why they were rejected and begin understanding what that rejection was quietly accomplishing within them. This realization rarely arrives during the painful season itself. It usually appears much later, after enough time has passed to see the larger picture. While living through rejection, everything feels personal. Every closed door feels like a statement about your worth. Every betrayal feels like proof that people cannot be trusted. Every misunderstanding feels like evidence that nobody truly sees you. Yet with time and healing, a different perspective begins to emerge. You start recognizing that some of the people who rejected you were responding not to who you were, but to what they could not understand. Human beings often struggle with what feels unfamiliar. They are comfortable with patterns they recognize. They gravitate toward people who reflect their expectations. When someone carries a different perspective, a different depth, a different level of sensitivity, or a different sense of purpose, it can create discomfort. Not because that person is wrong, but because their presence challenges what others have grown accustomed to. Many chosen people spend years trying to shrink themselves in order to gain acceptance. They learn how to hide their convictions. They learn how to silence their dreams. They learn how to become smaller versions of themselves so they can avoid criticism. They become experts at adapting, adjusting, and accommodating everyone around them. Yet no amount of shrinking ever creates lasting peace, because the soul was never designed to live beneath the weight of constant self-denial. There is a profound exhaustion that comes from pretending to be someone you are not. There is a deep loneliness that develops when people only know the version of you that was created to make them comfortable. Eventually, many chosen people reach a turning point. They realize that acceptance purchased through self-betrayal is far too expensive. They realize that belonging loses its meaning when it requires abandoning their authentic identity. They realize that peace cannot be found through endless performance. This realization is often one of the greatest gifts hidden within rejection. It forces you to ask important questions. Who are you when nobody is telling you who to be? What remains when external validation disappears? What values continue guiding your decisions when applause becomes scarce? These questions are uncomfortable, but they are transformative. They lead to a deeper understanding of self. They create a stronger foundation. They help build an identity rooted in truth rather than approval. Many people spend decades chasing acceptance without ever discovering themselves. The chosen are often given a different path. The path may feel lonely at times, but it leads toward authenticity. It leads toward inner strength. It leads toward a confidence that is not dependent upon changing opinions. One of the hardest lessons rejection teaches is that not everyone assigned to a chapter of your life is assigned to the entire story. Some people arrive to teach lessons. Some arrive to offer encouragement. Some arrive to reveal weaknesses that need healing. Some arrive simply to walk beside you for a season. Problems arise when we expect temporary relationships to provide permanent support. Much of the heartbreak people experience comes from holding too tightly to what was only meant for a season. The chosen often experience repeated endings because growth changes them. As their understanding deepens, their priorities shift. As their faith matures, their direction changes. As their healing progresses, their relationships evolve. This does not mean they become better than others. It simply means they continue becoming who they were meant to be. Growth creates movement. Movement creates change. Change naturally alters certain relationships. During these transitions, it is common to feel abandoned. It is common to feel isolated. It is common to wonder whether everyone else has found a place where they belong while you remain stuck searching. Yet appearances can be deceiving. Many people who seem accepted are carrying silent struggles of their own. Many people who appear confident are wrestling with hidden insecurities. Many people who look successful are longing for the very authenticity that rejection forced you to develop. The chosen often underestimate the value of the lessons they learned through hardship. They focus on what they lacked rather than what they gained. They see the loneliness, but overlook the wisdom. They see the disappointment, but overlook the resilience. They see the rejection, but overlook the character that emerged because of it. Every difficult season leaves something behind. If approached with faith and reflection, it leaves strength. It leaves perspective. It leaves compassion. It leaves maturity. These qualities may not receive immediate recognition, but they become invaluable throughout life. There are people who possess success without character. There are people who possess influence without wisdom. There are people who possess opportunities without gratitude. The chosen are often prepared differently. Their difficult seasons teach them how precious every blessing truly is. They learn not to take relationships for granted. They learn not to define themselves by temporary circumstances. They learn how to remain grounded when life becomes uncertain. One reason purpose often appears after rejection is because purpose requires emotional maturity. It requires the ability to handle disappointment without losing hope. It requires the ability to endure criticism without abandoning conviction. It requires the ability to remain kind in environments that reward bitterness. These qualities are rarely developed through comfort. They are forged through challenge. They are strengthened through adversity. They are refined through seasons that test everything a person believes about themselves. Consider how much strength already exists within you. You survived situations that once seemed impossible. You carried burdens that felt unbearable. You walked through uncertainty without knowing how the story would unfold. Yet somehow you remained here. Somehow you continued growing. Somehow you continued believing that life still held meaning, that perseverance matters, that endurance matters, that faith matters. Many people would have given up under the weight of what you carried. The fact that you continued moving forward reveals a level of resilience that should never be underestimated. There is something remarkable about a person who remains gentle after experiencing pain. There is something powerful about a person who remains hopeful after experiencing disappointment. There is something inspiring about a person who continues loving despite experiencing rejection. Those qualities do not develop accidentally. They emerge through experience. They emerge through healing. They emerge through repeated choices to keep the heart open when it would be easier to close it. The chosen often feel frustrated because their journey seems slower than everyone else's. They watch others receive recognition while they remain unnoticed. They watch others achieve milestones while they continue waiting. They watch others gain opportunities while their own path remains uncertain. Yet comparison rarely reveals the full story. Every journey unfolds according to a different timeline. Every life contains unique lessons. Every purpose requires unique preparation. The delay was not necessarily a denial. Sometimes it was development. Sometimes it was protection. Sometimes it was preparation. God sees possibilities long before we see them. He sees outcomes long before we understand them. While we focus on immediate circumstances, He sees the larger picture. That does not remove the pain of waiting. It does not erase the disappointment of rejection. But it offers reassurance that difficult seasons do not automatically indicate forgotten prayers. God has not forgotten you. He has not overlooked your sacrifices. He has not ignored your tears. He has not dismissed your faithfulness. The quiet seasons often contain more purpose than we realize. The hidden seasons often produce deeper transformation than visible success ever could. One day you may discover that the rejection you feared was actually creating space for healthier relationships. You may discover that the doors that closed protected you from unnecessary pain. You may discover that the delays you resented allowed you to become stronger, wiser, and more prepared. Until then, continue honoring the growth that has already taken place. Continue recognizing the strength that already exists within you. Continue appreciating the progress that cannot be measured by external achievements alone. Healing matters, wisdom matters, character matters, faith matters. These are not small accomplishments. They are some of the most valuable things a person can develop. Your journey has meaning even when it feels unclear. Your story has value even when it seems unfinished. Your purpose does not disappear simply because it remains hidden for a season. The rejection was never the end of your story. It was one chapter among many. There are still pages waiting to be written. There are still lessons waiting to be understood. There are still blessings waiting to unfold in their proper time. And through it all, the strength that carried you this far will continue carrying you forward. If this message helped you see your journey through a different lens and reminded you that your growth still matters, subscribe to the channel and stay connected to messages that encourage faith, healing, perseverance, and purpose. Sometimes the encouragement you need arrives through shared experiences that remind you that you are not walking this path alone. One of the most beautiful truths many chosen people eventually discover is that the purpose they spent years searching for was quietly being formed inside them while they were focused on everything they thought they were missing. During seasons of rejection, it is natural to concentrate on what has been lost. You notice the friendships that ended. You remember the opportunities that never happened. You replay conversations that left wounds. You carry memories of moments when you felt overlooked, dismissed, or forgotten. The human heart naturally gravitates toward those experiences because pain demands attention. Yet, while you were grieving what left your life, something else was taking place beneath the surface. Strength was being built, wisdom was being developed, compassion was being deepened, character was being refined. These transformations often happen so gradually that they are impossible to notice in real time. Just as a tree grows quietly beneath the changing seasons, much of your personal growth happened in ways that were invisible from day to day. Then one day you look back and realize you are not the same person you once were. The things that used to destroy your peace no longer have the same power over you. The fears that once controlled your decisions no longer dominate your thinking. The approval you once desperately sought no longer feels necessary for your sense of worth. This is one of the hidden gifts that often emerges from rejection. It teaches you to find stability within yourself rather than in constantly changing circumstances. It teaches you to build your identity upon something deeper than public recognition. It teaches you that your value existed long before anyone acknowledged it. Many chosen people spend years feeling behind in life. They compare their progress to others. They wonder why everything seems harder for them. They question whether they somehow missed their opportunity. Yet purpose rarely follows the timeline people expect. Some of the most meaningful chapters of life begin after seasons that appeared empty. Some of the greatest opportunities emerge after periods of waiting. Some of the deepest joy arrives after years of perseverance. The chosen often develop patience, not because they wanted to, but because life required it. They learn how to continue moving forward when immediate results are unavailable. They learn how to keep believing when evidence seems scarce. They learn how to remain faithful to their values even when rewards are delayed. Those lessons become part of their foundation. Those lessons become part of their strength. Looking back, many people realize they were becoming the person capable of handling future blessings. Had those opportunities arrived earlier, they might not have been prepared for them. Had certain doors opened sooner, they might have walked through them without the wisdom necessary to navigate what came next. Preparation is rarely exciting while it is happening, yet preparation often determines whether future opportunities become lasting blessings. There are people who receive what they prayed for, but lack the maturity to sustain it. There are people who achieve success but lose themselves in the process. There are people who gain recognition but remain deeply insecure because their identity was never strengthened. The chosen are often shaped differently. Their hidden seasons force them to develop inner stability. Their difficult seasons teach them how to remain grounded. Their struggles teach them how to appreciate what truly matters. This is why your difficult years should never be viewed as empty years. They were years of development. They were years of preparation. They were years during which important qualities were taking root beneath the surface. You learned lessons about resilience. You learned lessons about forgiveness. You learned lessons about patience. You learned lessons about faith. None of those lessons are insignificant. In fact, many of them may become some of your greatest strengths moving forward. There is also another truth that deserves to be remembered. Rejection often reveals who you are, but it also reveals who other people are. Difficult seasons expose the quality of relationships. They reveal who remains supportive when circumstances become challenging. They reveal who values you beyond what you can provide. They reveal who genuinely cares about your well-being. While these discoveries can be painful, they are also valuable. Clarity is a gift even when it arrives through disappointment. Knowing who truly belongs in your life allows you to invest your energy more wisely. It allows you to build healthier relationships. It allows you to stop chasing acceptance from people who were never capable of giving it. The chosen often carry extraordinary compassion because they understand what it feels like to be overlooked. They know what loneliness feels like. They know what disappointment feels like. They know what it means to continue showing up while carrying invisible burdens. This understanding allows them to connect with others in meaningful ways. It allows them to offer encouragement rooted in genuine experience. It allows them to become sources of hope for people walking through similar struggles. Your pain did not have the final word. Your rejection did not have the final word. Your disappointments did not have the final word. They were chapters, not conclusions. They were experiences, not identities. They were seasons, not destinations. The enemy of hope often tries to convince people that their hardest moments define them forever. But that is not how life works. Human beings are capable of growth. They are capable of healing. They are capable of transformation. The person you are becoming is not limited by the chapters you survived. In many ways, those chapters helped prepare you for what comes next. You carried burdens that few people ever noticed. You survived moments that nobody applauded. You kept moving forward through situations that tested every ounce of your strength. Those experiences matter. They are part of your story. They are evidence of your resilience. The fact that you are still here says something powerful about your character. The fact that you continue hoping says something powerful about your spirit. The fact that you continue seeking meaning says something powerful about your faith. God has not forgotten the sacrifices you made. He has not forgotten the prayers you whispered in private. He has not forgotten the tears you shed when nobody else was around. He has not forgotten the moments when you felt completely unseen. Throughout Scripture and throughout life, some of the most meaningful transformations happened in hidden places. Growth often occurred before recognition. Preparation often occurred before opportunity. Faith often developed before visible results. The same pattern continues today. Sometimes the most important work is happening during seasons that seem ordinary. Sometimes purpose is developing during moments that feel unnoticed. Sometimes healing is taking place even when progress appears slow. Trusting that process is not always easy, yet it becomes easier when you remember how many times you survived situations that once seemed impossible. You have already overcome more than you give yourself credit for. You have already demonstrated strength that many people never see. You have already proven your ability to endure difficult seasons without losing your humanity. That matters. It matters more than you realize. As you continue forward, allow yourself to release the belief that rejection determined your value. It never did. Allow yourself to release the belief that being misunderstood diminished your worth. It never could. Allow yourself to release the belief that delayed recognition means delayed purpose. Purpose does not wait for recognition to exist. It exists long before others can see it. Some of the most valuable things in life spend long periods developing beneath the surface. The same is true for people. Your kindness matters. Your faith matters. Your perseverance matters. Your healing matters. Your story matters. The difficult seasons did not erase your value. If anything, they revealed how much strength already existed within you. And as you continue walking forward, remember that the chapters ahead have not been written yet. There is still room for growth. There is still room for joy. There is still room for meaningful relationships, deeper peace, renewed purpose, and unexpected blessings. The rejection came before the purpose appeared, but it was never stronger than the purpose itself. What God places within a person cannot be erased by the opinions of others. What He develops through years of growth cannot be undone by temporary setbacks. The road may have been difficult, but your journey is not over. The same strength that carried you through rejection can carry you into the future with hope, confidence, wisdom, and peace. If these messages have helped you feel seen, understood, and encouraged during your journey, subscribe to the channel and continue being part of a place where faith, healing, purpose, and personal growth are valued. May every message ahead remind you that your story matters and that your life still holds meaningful chapters yet to come.